the food security bill?
The food security bill, I haven't seen what the government has sent back, but we are deeply unhappy about what they did.
We read that John Jersey has written to the Supreme Court that he does not want to control the
So he is not on NBC not because of the bill. He told her he would stay for 1 year, and he's now decided he wants to go back to the academics.
So he doesn't, but the newspapers say that this has a lot of bearing on the way the system of PDS and who should get what quantity of grains, all this had a bearing on the decision. That's what he said.
Could be. He alone can answer for this. But what I can say is from what I know, he said he would stay for 1 year. He stayed for the year and he's not gone. But gone out of the NBC. But so far as the rights bill is concerned, again, it's really been. Again, we haven't got the bill back. I haven't seen the bill, so much of what I say is on hearsay, but read out from certain authentic reports that came out of the ministry. And the food security bill now has reduced the applicability of the eligibility of people in the rural areas, perhaps kept the eligibility in the urban areas. It has also removed the whole grievance redressal mechanism that we put in there has been removed, and it has, I think, brought in cash transfer, and it has also brought in UID. Two things which we were resisting because we don't feel that UID is a that cash transfer.
My next question actually, Aadhaar scheme is so much debate around it.
See, personally, I feel that Aadhaar is a bad
surveillance state. Is India becoming a surveillance state?
It could very well be, and I fear that it will be used. There are many fears. They'll track us and target us, and there will also be a question of when it's going to be data handed over to a private company, and they say that this private company is the same company which deals with the CIA. Now, why should our information be lodged in private hands? And if it is in government's hands, at least they have the legitimate right to see that at some point of time, if there is a huge crisis, it can come out. But if it's with a private company, what will we do? The private company can misuse it, sell that information to anybody who has vested interest other than Indian, even so-called integrity and security issues. So I think it's very dangerous, and that they are doing it without total transparency is worrying me. Without the bill being passed, MOUs have been signed. Without the bill being passed, ministries have started working on it. I think it's completely parliamentarily, legislatively incorrect to scrutinize this. Technically, there are lots of voices being raised about how ineffective it will be. Lots of individual failures have also come to light. So to have it for limited purposes, you have a card which works on this kind of system for your metro or for your ATM. That's fine. But to make it the basis of your entire mechanism of governance is really dangerous.
Completely replace PDS with food stamps.
No, but we all have lots of reservations about food stamps. We've had lots of discussions and arguments even with the Planning Commission. So food stamps is not a guarantee. And also you hand over, for us the fear is, see, these people who sit in the Planning Commission have no idea of village level politics and social oppression that takes place. The same shop that will give the PDS name will be the moneylender shop. Also be the shop from which the person will be forced to take. That's how bonding takes place in rural areas. The shopkeeper comes forward and gives you lots of things which you can never repay, and it has compound interest every 6 months. So by the time you've gone through 5 years, you cannot dream of repaying the capital because the interest is so much. So your children and your grandchildren are bonded. This is a system rural India has used extensively and intensively. To bring this whole system back for all of us is very frightening, because they are past masters in the game. So, and also whether they will actually give the grain to the people or not, how accountable they will be, whether it gets transferred to them. Again, all these bank transfers are good at one level, but at another level they are absolutely opaque. You never know what is getting transferred where. So they are worried.
Okay, it's been 6 years since the RTI, and how do you see the last 6 years? And the army is still not in its handle. How do you assess the...
No, the part of the army isn't the ambit of the army has not been removed. Army has not been removed. If the CBI has been removed, they will now ask for removal, but they are not removed. Security apart, the army is under this kind of security. All the defense forces are under this kind of procurement, etc.
But if it's about a defense document...
No, the security issues are under RAP and we don't want to see them also. But that's a second league which we are not ready for it in this country. They're even looking at basic documents. But they put CBI under RAP. Now they put PPP under RAP. From inception, they said that PPPs will not be covered by RTI, which means all the private investment in this country, which is what it will soon very well be, or investment with NGOs or with all these contractual arrangements between the government and them, will be invisible, and much of the corruption will take place then. So it's very frightening. That is what needs to be publicly challenged soon. We've written, the press hasn't even, no newspapers published our protest. But the point is that we have protested, we have written to the DOPT, we are going to write to the Prime Minister and take time. But it's an issue which I think people all around the country should take.
My final question to you is that have you ever thought that being a part of the NSC is a limiting factor, a constricting factor?
See, it's an uncomfortable position because in one sense, within the NAC, because it is democratically run. It's not that one person, amongst the members we are all democratically allowed to express any point of view we have. But the decision, of course, is the chairperson's decision, and that is fine. But in the working of that particular group of people, it's like an engagement with government in the pre-legislative process. So it is a part of the pre-legislative process. But what do we do in the NAC? We look at bills and laws and policies and monitor them. The discomfort arises because there are times when the decision which is taken by a majority may not be something we agree with. And if it's something which we basically disagree with, then there are issues. But so far that has not happened. But the attrition of having everything whittled down and to fight a battle in which you can't use the tools you've always used. A different set of tools have to be used for battling there is exhausting for me because I'm not used to that system. I'm far happier in the open system which I'm used to. But that democratic space is extremely important because by being in NAC, I've been able to use that space to stall the amendments to the RTI. So we've been able to get the onus shifted in the CV bill from putting the entire blame on the community to the system, which has been a major shift. The rest of the bill will be watered down, but that crucial basic system cannot be removed from them. The food security bill, even however watered down it is by government, still we've set a benchmark. Now that benchmark can become the benchmark for fighting within the parliament and also in the standing committee for greater allocations. So everything gives something. The point is, with government, it's always a war of attrition. It has to go on and on. It's got attrition over and over again. You have to convince the secretary, convince the additional solicitor general, then you'll have to convince the minister, then you have to convince parliamentarians, then you have to convince. But in a pluralistic economy or in a pluralistic democracy, I suppose this has got to be continual engagement. And then also with how to use the media, what to release to the media. And also it brings in a certain kind of humility because this lawmaking process is not an easy process. It's a complicated process. It needs special skills. So those of us who like to talk about policy may not be very good in actually drafting cases. Those who draft may not be able to do something else. So these are all skills which we all have. Position largely we agree upon, and it's easy. So governance is not easy. That of course we all know. So given the fact that it's not easy, a partial engagement when you're still not fully there and you don't have the benefit of anything is that much tougher. But then we have argued that democratic space, if you get it anywhere, If you look at, for instance, what the right wing has done in India in the last 50 years, they have occupied every single vacuum. That's why they set the discourse for this country. It's just now that they've been slightly sidelined. But for 15 years they set the discourse. Even some of the questions that they asked me today were part of the discourse. You just buy it.
Reservations and
Reservation and the whole business of what. And then regarding also the bit about housing. There are ghettos, definitely ghettos for Muslims. Certainly not true for non-Muslims. Can't wish it away by saying some trivialities. The point is the discourse has been said. I know people ask me, Gandhiji gave money to Pakistan. So what do you mean by that? Oh, he surrendered Indian money to Pakistan. Because when the treasury was left in the treasury, whatever money was in the treasury at the time of independence was with India. So they gave Pakistan its share, which it had to get. There is an RSS myth that he defrauded India and gave money to Pakistan. But this is bought by children who are not RSS. So when much of the discourse has to now be reinvented or restated in that process, being part of all these midway institutions gives you some space to form these. One has to see it politically as engaging with one's own government to push the policies of our own people who have no profile at all at the moment, and therefore to fight every single kind of obstacle that comes and use every strength that this partial engagement offers. So it is tough.
thanks so much for talking to us.